didn't have to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts, just beware of the thorns.
Hello YouTube. I've gotten several requests for different things, so I'm going to see if I can do them all in one video. One request was for the different types of people I met in prison. I think they was talking more about different areas, you know. Somebody wanted me to talk about Mona. Anybody that's been in prison in Missouri has heard of Mona. Then somebody wanted me to talk about extortion. So I'm going to try to cover all of those. So, before I get started on this, if you're new, you like prison content, subscribe, share. You know, let's try to get this message out there. And subscribe. Hit that like and comment. I really like hearing from you guys, and some of you guys got interesting stories yourselves, you know. I've told you guys that, and I like your feedback. Anyway, let's get into this. Let's talk about the different types of people I met. Some of them are already covered, you know, Kansas City, St. Louis, Springfield, and Joplin. But I met people from all over the world. There was Boz, who was from Bosnia, kind of crazy guy, and he was cool until he ended up with meeting a couple other Bosnians, and then they started trying to extort people and stuff. It's like when one or more of them got together, you know, more than one got together, they started doing things. I met a guy named New York. Guess where he was from. He was alright. You know, I met a couple people from New York actually. One was Tony Russo, and they just called him Tony. But there was a guy from Jamaica. You guessed it. What do you think we called him? Jamaica. A guy from Brazil. Called him Brazil. There was a guy from Russia too, a kid, like 18 or 19 in Bowling Green that I met. He ended up being a person who started things, you know. He liked to instigate stuff, but they didn't call him Russia. I don't know why they called him Sergey. But even in you know, you had people named Country. They're from the country, you know. Some of these names stuck with people, you know. Red, you know, they usually had red hair. One of my workout partners was red. And I remember he and I getting in an argument with our other workout partner, who had real strong legs. I mean, unbelievable strength. Could squat a lot. He couldn't understand why we couldn't squat as much as he did. I said, well, why don't you go and try to do as many pull-ups as I do? You can't. He said, it's 90% of your mind. I said, well, if that's the case, do as many pull-ups as I do. That's you and I. If it's 90% in the mind, that's you and I. Why can't you and I do as many benches, much weight on the bench as Red? He goes, well, Red's got short arms. He doesn't have to push it up as far. It doesn't matter, you know. When you're benching, it's always hardest right when you first take off, and it gets easier as you push up. So, you know, I don't want to hear that. So his arms are 6 inches shorter than us. You know, makes no difference. But Red was a cool dude, and I remember Red one day going to the hole, and when you go from the hole to medical, you got past the yard, and there's a fence. And one day they brought him out on a stretcher, and he was screaming. I mean, my gosh, he was screaming. And he's saying, "Take it out." We're all looking at one another like, "What? You know, what does he have a piece in him?" You know, we didn't know what was going on, but they took him to medical, and I never did see him again. But I met people from California. Dude from California was funny. I was sitting with this guy. His name was Country, and dude from California sat there. We didn't call him California. I can't remember his name, but we get talking about different restaurants between here and there, you know. And we say, "You guys got little castles out there in California?" And I think he said no. He asked us about a couple of restaurants. And on some of them we'd say yeah, and on some of them he'd say yeah, and some of them we'd say no, you know. And then Country goes to speak. He goes, "Hey, do you guys got?" And he's trying to think of the name. And California says, "No, we ain't got Bob's Catfish out in California." It was a joke about everybody in Missouri being country, you know, and of course that guy's name was Country. But all different parts of Missouri. There's a lot of people from the Boot Hill. There's a lot of people from down around Springfield and southwest Missouri. A lot of people from the very north Missouri, almost into the other state. Just different places, you know, and most of them was good people, you know. I mean, you got your, what I mean by good people is that, you know, they may have done bad things, but hanging around them in prison, they was kind of cool. And some people wasn't cool to hang around with in prison. And several of them, and this guy, he requested I talk about Mona. And there's different types of people, I mean, like Mona, you know. I've never seen this happen, but I've always heard this. Mona is the type of person that will, they said, will knock you out, perform a sexual act, leave a pack of cigarettes or a bag of top on you. Never seen this happen, but one day, and he was a Golden Glove boxer. But one day in Farmington, we had night rec. When you're out in the yard until it gets dark, and then you either got to go to your housing unit or you can go to the gym till 9. So it got dark, I guess around 8 or so. So we went to, a bunch of us went to the gym. On the way back, I looked beside me, and there's Mona. So I kind of take a couple steps to the side, wait, you know, cautious, you know, and his reputation precedes him. So he looks over and he kind of laughs. He goes, "Man, you don't have to worry about me. I quit that a long time ago." I said, "Oh yeah?" He goes, "Yeah, I was in Pacific and knocked a guy out under the stairs and pulled him under there. And said he comes back and wets me up pretty good. You know, I had to be airlifted out to the hospital." I'm thinking, you know, you didn't think sooner or later this wasn't going to happen? You know? So that's what I know about Mona. People who have never even met Mona know about Mona. It's just like a legend almost, you know, the things he did. But yeah, I was being real cautious, you know, and I mean, I'm not a boxer, you know. I've never been knocked out. I didn't want to be the first time. Anyway, the next thing I'm going to talk about is extortion. Taking advantage of people. And this happens in prison, you know. People try to get people to pay protection money, or this is going to happen or that's going to happen. But I mean, it comes in all shapes and sizes. But it's really bad when they involve people from the outside. You know, maybe they get the person's address or something, phone number, and they call them. They tell them, hey, look, this is going to happen. And sometimes it will. I mean, if the person owes a debt, they want that debt paid. But sometimes it's just a tactic to get money, and they're not really going to go that far. And sometimes it's the loved one having these people say that. You know, maybe they got in debt. Maybe they just want more money, and so they have either the people that they owe, or they have their partners call their people and tell them, you know, that the person's life is in danger. But I mean, extortion's, I think it's really bad. It's bad enough when it's done against an inmate. It seems, you know, a prisoner. It seems worse when they involve people from the outside. Or whether it's a game, or whether, you know, it's just a ploy to get money, or if it really is, you know. If it, usually somebody is not going to call and say a person's life is in danger unless there's a debt. You know, and usually a pretty big debt. It could be a drug debt, it could be gambling, it could be just running up a store bill, whatever. Or it could be that he was told him that he'd pay for protection, and he's not getting the money in to pay for protection. There's so many different things, you know. Oh, somebody else had a request about Goldfinger. Before they built Fulton, everybody had to go through the walls. And there was this guy, he was a doctor, I guess, and he had a Goldfinger. I don't know if it was plastic and just colored that, or if it was the real thing, or if it was rubber. I don't know. They do a cavity search on everybody. And these old school guys used to tell me, man, you're lucky you didn't meet Dr. Goldfinger, or Goldfinger, you know. And they told me, you know, this is the way it was, you know. They'd check, make sure you didn't have no contraband up there. But I was fortunate enough that I went through Fulton instead of the walls, and I didn't have to meet him. In fact, the walls, Fulton had just been built, and they were still working on some of it when I went through Fulton. And years later, my brother went through Fulton for a 120-day shock, and he told me that they had tents everywhere. And they put him in a tent. And when I went through there, it was just housing units. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. If you guys have any questions, any requests, or if I didn't elaborate long enough on something, just please let me know, and I'll try to do what you requested, or do a longer, go more in depth on something you do want to know about. Thank you for watching, taking time to watch. You know, it means a lot. Please comment. I love those comments, man. Thank you. See you next time.